I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with saxophonist Hailey Niswanger. Prolific, eclectic, bold, fearless. These are a few words I can use to describe Hailey's career and musical catalog. Hailey is a true artist who is not afraid of pushing boundaries, even if it entails a self-reinvention that requires a name change. As Hailey Niswanger, she has released straight-ahead jazz projects, including her album Confetti and The Keeper, and a soul-inspired album called Soul PDX. Her latest work, called Volume 1 Inter B, is released under the name MAE.SUN, a name that captures the current artistic configuration of Hailey Niswanger and her band. Volume 1 Inter B seamlessly fuses contemporary jazz, funk, and neo-soul, showcasing that unique boundary-pushing talent of Hailey Niswanger. Hailey has worked with a wide range of celebrated musicians, including Esperanza, Spalding, and Terri Lyne Carrington. The song playing in the background is called Life is Limitless from her album Volume 1 Inter B. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Hailey Niswanger by going to the website of the podcast, www.doingjazz.net, and you can listen to more episodes of the podcast by subscribing on iTunes, TuneIn, or Stitcher. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present the truly prolific, truly eclectic, truly bold, and truly fearless MAE.SUN Hailey Niswanger. In your face.
Outstretch your arms.
Yes.
Let
My
the
arms
sun
are stretched.
radiate from within. Filling.
Preach. All right, let's roll.
Okay, let's roll.
Hailey Niswanger.
Niswanger.
That's
yes.
good. Welcome to Doing Jazz.
Thank you for having me.
That's good. I've been listening to your music. But first of all, let's talk about something that we've been chatting for like 30 minutes.
Yes.
Somebody told me you have a photo shoot today.
Oh. Is this so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yes. I'm trying to go for some new different looks with this new project. Get a little artsy, creative, colorful.
Do you know your concept? Do you know what you're going to do yet?
I actually like to do photo shoots with my friends, which is great because I trust them and I give them a lot of creative freedom when it comes to that. So I like to really, communicate like freedom with them and let them kind of inspire me, and maybe I'll have some inspirational photos that I've seen or some outfits that I like. And we kind of just get together and have fun with it.
See, I envy you. Photo shoot makes me nervous, like really, really nervous. I'd rather be on stage like for 24 hours than do 1 hour photo shoot.
I agree. Actually, me too.
Yeah, I'm always like thinking of how is it gonna turn out? Am I gonna be able to use one of these pictures? At least I just want one good one.
I know. Yeah.
I'm thinking my next photo shoot, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call somebody, give the person my iPhone, take a picture of me, like a lot of pictures with the outfit I'm going to use in the photo shoot. Then I'm going to choose a few that I like the angle, and then I'll give it to the professional photographer and be like, this is what I want.
That's good.
Yeah, go for it.
That's good to have that direction.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about your music.
All right.
I've been listening to it. What's the album called again?
The album,
is it Volume 1?
It's called Volume 1 Inter B. So as you can tell, that means there's going to be more.
Yes.
Right.
From the volume 1.
Right.
But then the inter B, that's a new, really cool, what I call it, clause of phrase. Mm-hmm. Can you explain?
Yes, and I can't take credit for it. Right. I was inspired, largely this music was very much inspired by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. Okay. And I found some of his books last year. The one that I first read was called Peace is Every Step. And it influenced me so much that I have it tattooed on my foot. But a main concept he talked about in this book was how we can't exist alone. We can't just be. He said that the verb to be should not even exist. It's because we can't just be here. We are here breathing because of the trees, warm because of the sun. Everything on this planet exists because we have this central light that we all need. So the concept was that we interbe with the sun, we interbe with the trees, with each other, with all the animals, with all the elements. And I really love this universal concept, how we're so not alone. And he talks about how the sun is everybody's second heart outside our bodies. How if we didn't have the sun, we wouldn't survive. So that in turn is a heart for all of us. And that takes us to the name of the group, MAE.SUN.
MAE.SUN.
And so I'm pulling from the sun. May is actually my middle name. Okay. So that's how I combined that concept with still existing within myself.
Oh, wow. Let's dive right into the music.
Yeah.
I like to start with the ones that are my favorite so far. They could change. I've listened to all the songs. Life is Limitless.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. I love anything 6/8 or 12/8 captures my attention. And then odd signatures intrigue me because they mess me up. It takes me a while. I'm a mathematician and I count well, but it takes me a while. Anything that's not 6/8, 3/4, 4/4, right. I have to listen to it for a while before I'm like, okay, this is 7/8 or this is 5. 5/4, whatever. This is 11/12.
Talking about that, I mean, a lot of in our music of MAE.SUN, a lot of it is in odd time signatures, but you don't really catch that right away because it feels good. It's almost like you realize later that it's not in a normal time signature or something because I wrote it and it just made sense, and then it's almost like I counted it out and I was like, oh, well, that's in 11 or something, I'm like, but it feels so good. And yes, Life at Limitless is in 7 and goes to like 6/8.
It has, I was telling you earlier that it has this kind of African vibe. I don't know if it's deliberate. Do you want to talk about that song? I just want to learn more about that song.
Yes, definitely. It is deliberate, and actually kind of takes me back to my college days at Berklee College of Music. I was in the Berklee Global Jazz Institute, which was led by Danilo Perez, and he heavily drilled us on this transitioning between, your like a 4/4 into a 6/8, or just like messing with the claves, going from 7 into different time signatures until it just almost felt natural. Like when I wrote this song, it almost just like wrote itself, where I was like, I'm feeling it at this tempo and then it drops to this other groove, and it just felt so natural to me. So it was nice to like pull, feeling like different influences from my past like come out like just naturally now. I've been influenced by African culture heavily. I mean, jazz is Black American music. And I've had the privilege of going to Africa 3 times now. And primarily spent most of my time in Ethiopia. I lived there for 9 weeks this year, actually, with a family. It's very dear to my heart. And now that's like my second family, second home over there.
Is the family like a family of musicians?
Actually, yes, they are. They're all very musical. And I was just wowed by that. They'd have all their traditional Ethiopian instruments there. We'd sing most nights, play like karar, different percussion instruments. But my close friend Israel Dejeni is who I met when I first went over there, and he plays trumpet and also sings, and he leads a collective for these kids called Magabi Skate, and it's really empowering kids through skateboarding and giving them a central community. So I volunteered with them, and I got some saxophone donated and went over there and I taught saxophone lessons. I had a flute and guitar, and I would just the kids would come hang out and we'd do music, and they would teach me so many songs and games. And it was a really wonderful way to live life so freely and in such a strong community, because here in America we don't really have that trust. And it was so beautiful to see how much everyone trusts each other and how much responsibility the kids have. I mean, there's 5 and 8-year-olds walking around by themselves,
I grew up in Nigeria.
Everyone looks out for each other, and I loved that. I love that community.
Nice.
That's where we're at.
And there's an inter-B going on.
Yes, there is. Very much so. Yeah.
Awesome. Another song is Breathe. Wait, you have a video for that one out?
I do.
Yeah. You guys should go watch that video. It's really awesome. The video it tells a story, and it makes you ask questions. What's going on? So at the same time, while it's telling that story, it's kind of intriguing you and making you want to go and watch it again. Yeah. There's a lot going on, and then the music is awesome too.
Thank you.
I listened to that track first, and then I'm like, oh, isn't this the one she has a video for? So I went to watch the video, and I like it. So
thank you.
Do you want to talk about maybe that video?
Sure. That track in particular, Breathe, really draws from the whole concept inter-B. And again, going back to Thich Nhat Hanh, he had this saying where in order to connect with yourself more, to calm yourself more, it would be breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And I took from that, obviously the lyrics draw from that. I switched some of the words, but implying all the same things. And then moving on to the concept of inter-B, and I'd say we are the wind, the rain, the stars above us. It's pulling from all these things, how we are connected and we exist in everything. So in the visuals for the video, we really wanted to pull from that and put, a stripped down version of ourselves. We're not very clothed. We're very much one with the nature in this video. And, I very freely was like, I'll get under the tree. Yeah. Let me go be under the tree or get in the pond or anywhere where I grew up in Oregon actually. So I was very much in the trees as a child, barefoot everywhere. But yeah, we really wanted to get a very raw version of us being connected to the land. And you see a beautiful sunset, and we actually went running after these sunset shots up these hills. Awesome. And I had 3 beautiful dancers, and you just see their silhouettes. And because you see the silhouette of the hill too, it's almost like they are one with it, which we are, but also visually it looked like that. And then it transitions into the later part of the song where the feeling kind of drops. You get a little bit more of a heavier bass, and the vocals start, and we switched into almost you go into a time to the other side of reality, about existing in this almost universal space. And we wanted it to almost be like a timeless universal oasis, and I really love the simplicity of it too. And it was directed by my friend Anastasia Warren, she's only 21 years old. I mean, and making art like this, just so creatively. And I really trusted her from the beginning, and we really, threw off ideas to each other, and this is what happened. And we went up to Bethel, upstate New York, and that's where we shot the outdoor, very much earthy part of it. Yes. And then the rest was done in a studio here in New York.
Awesome. I want to talk a little bit about your previous music, your music, your catalog, because there's a new,
it's growing.
There's a new album is it out yet? It came out on
yeah,
November 3rd.
It came out November 3rd.
November 3rd, okay. So it's out, but you have this wonderful collection of music that you have. I don't want to just focus on the new one. Yeah. I want to talk about those too. You know, you have 3 albums already. This is the 4th one. I think I wrote them down. Yeah. PDX Soul. Okay. The Keeper. Confetti. Right. I really enjoyed PDX Soul.
Thank you.
I haven't really delved into the other 2. I like it when you feature vocalists, like those soul vocalists. They like really brought something to the album. Was there a concept for that album? Was it?
Yeah.
I mean, it has soul in the title.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So just in order to talk about that, I have to go back and tell you the first 2 albums, Confetti and
good.
The Keeper, were
whatever you want to talk about.
were like my culmination of all the years of study of jazz throughout when I was a child, through high school, through college. Well, Confetti came out when I was only a freshman in college, but it very much highlighted jazz masters that I really loved. Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Benny Golson. But moving on to The Keeper is when I started doing more of my own compositions, but in that same traditional jazz vein. And that came out right when I graduated college in 2012. And then I was like, but I love so much more than this. I was like, I don't want to be known just as, a strictly jazz artist. And I was so influenced by this R&B, soul, jazz. Cannonball Adderley was a huge influence to me because he's done the burning jazz, but he's also, Country Preacher is one of my favorite albums. So I was like, I want to do this. And I had a mentor back home, Thera Memory, who was very influential on me and did both things as well, very well. And he offered to produce it. And so that whole cast of musicians on PDX Soul is all Portland musicians where I'm from.
Nice.
And musicians that I grew up, learning from. And it was just a really special moment that I could bring them all together as like my teachers coming together on this album and playing together, but also my friends. So it felt good to do like a very home-based project. Everything was done there, the recording, the mixing, the mastering. So I'm really proud of that project as well. But again, it was putting me in a box of like, this is soul, jazz, funk. Same, the other 2 were like, this is your traditional, more, swing jazz music. And I was like, I don't want to be boxed in because I started listening to all different types of music, especially after graduating college. I mean, up through college, I was like, I only listen to jazz. That's like my main thing. That's all I like. And then I got out of college and I started listening to a huge array of music, and that started influencing me, subconsciously too, just started like coming in. And when I got to the piano, I write on the piano mostly. And I was just like, let things come out. And I would start writing down little ideas. And then slowly MAE.SUN started to form, where I really felt free from, boxes and genres. And that's why I wanted to put it out under this new name, MAE.SUN. Yeah. Okay. And the first 3 are under HIALEY NISWANGER, which I still intend to put albums out under HIALEY NISWANGER, but that's because I'm still writing, your more traditional jazz stuff too. But that will go out under my name, and then this other more free form of writing that I have will be MAE.SUN.
Nice. Awesome. I want to go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're from Portland.
I'm from Portland.
Okay.
Oregon.
I don't know what to ask, but I just want to hear about your
most beautiful
upbringing.
It's so beautiful. I love Oregon. I just feel so lucky that I grew up in such a beautiful, beautiful place. My whole family's there still, so I get to go back a lot, and the musicians on the scene there was great. It was an amazing educational jazz scene to grow up in. A lot of great opportunities for like after school programs that I did. I was really obsessed with music from a young age, and going to private lessons on like 4 different instruments and in like 7 different symphonic bands, jazz bands, concert bands, whatever. But yeah, and then when I wasn't practicing music, I was out, rafting or skiing or hiking, going to the beach. So yeah, very, very lucky to grow up in a beautiful place.
Are your parents musicians?
They are not. Okay. Not even close.
What do they do?
They're in sales. Okay. They sell food service equipment.
Nice.
Yeah. My sister is, though. My sister has got a wonderful voice and can play. Your older sister? Yeah. Okay. She plays ukulele and can sing and dance and act, and nice. It's wonderful.
So why do you think your parents were so supportive of
I'm
art?
So lucky they were. I mean, for real, because they seemed to just get it from the beginning for me. Mm-hmm. What happened was when I was 5, I can't even remember, like I was that young, but I said to my mom, I was like, I really want to take piano lessons. And I don't know where I got this idea, where I'd even heard about the piano from, but she was like, okay, well, I'll pay and take you to lessons if you practice. And I was like, I'll practice. And from then, she never had to tell me to practice. It was like from the beginning, like a very self-driven, very disciplined in just loving the music and wanting to be good at it. And so when I was 8 years old and asked her, and actually I didn't ask her right away, I went to an arts camp called Willowbrook, and it was one of those camps where, just drop your kids off and there's all these tents in a field, and they can go to like the clay tent or the drawing, the writing tent or the music tent, the acting tent. And I like made a beeline for the music tent. Wow. And it was at the time that my sister was going into middle school, and so she was going to join band, and I kept hearing all these weird words like French horn or clarinet, and I was like, I didn't even ask them. I didn't talk to my family about it. I just like would overhear these words and went to the music tent, and I was like, I want to try a clarinet. And I didn't even know what a clarinet was. I had no idea what I was asking for. And so the guy brought out a clarinet and gave me a lesson, and I caught on really fast. And every day I went back to get a lesson, and I didn't even tell my mom what I was doing at camp all day. Like I, for some reason, kept it a secret. And at the end of the week, my clarinet teacher was like, why don't you have your mom come in and talk to me? So usual pickup, she drives around to pick me up, and I was like, Mom, you have to park. My clarinet teacher wants to talk to you. And she's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean clarinet teacher? And so she came on in, and he was like, Hailey's really caught on fast, and I think you should get private lessons for her, and here is a teacher that I can recommend. And so she's told me the same thing. She was like, all right, if this is what you want to do, I'll take you and pay for lessons, but you have to practice. And I was like, I'll practice. And she never had to tell me. And that teacher was named Clark Bondi, and he was also a saxophone player. Okay. So every time I went in for lessons, I would see these shiny gold horns sitting there, and I was like, ooh, what's that? I loved learning new things. New things was like, I would just grab on. I was like hungry for that. And he saw me looking at him, and he's like, well, I want you to stay with clarinet for 2 years before you start saxophone. And that's actually a very mature thing to say, because actually clarinet's way harder than the saxophone. And so I stuck with clarinet for 2 years, and when I was 10 I started saxophone, and then from there I learned flute and accordion for a while, and trying a whole bunch of different instruments, but saxophone was the one to grab my heart the most. So
the fact that you began with the clarinet,
well, piano.
The piano, and then when it comes to horns, the clarinet. Does it have anything to do with? Because I think on this album, this MAE.SUN Inter-B project, most of the songs were done with. Correct me if I'm wrong. Soprano saxophone?
Yeah, the whole project is on soprano.
Okay, yep. Soprano saxophone. Okay.
And that is interesting, because I did start on alto saxophone, which that's been what most people know me for. That's been my primary horn. Yeah. And this project is solely done on soprano saxophone.
Why?
Good question. I don't know. I think I just was at this point where I had played alto so much, and I love alto, of course, but I wanted to start being recognized more as a soprano saxophone player. And I think that also it's the hardest saxophone to play, in my opinion.
I think there are not a lot of people that played.
There you go. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's less played. It's not as common to be good at playing soprano saxophone. And I know that I am, and wanted to showcase that and step forward as a strong voice on this instrument. And I felt like I could do that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's great. I want to ask you like a question that I ask a lot of instrumentalists, and I like the collection of answers they gave. There's no one correct answer. There's never been like an answer that I didn't like, and there has never been an answer that I'm like, okay, this is the answer. Now the question is this. It's a very simple question, but it has a wide array of answers. How do you name your songs when most of them don't have lyrics?
Yes, this is one of the hardest things for me to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say, very hard. That's funny because it's always usually named after the music, yet I kind of have this feeling when I'm composing the music. So obviously the 2 tracks on the album, Breathe and Be Love, Be Peace, those had lyrics that I drew from. But the other ones, it was more a feeling that I got into. And I actually pulled a lot from Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching because it was a very heavy influence on the whole project. So I could really pull from when I would read his books, and everyone should go read his books. Please go read his books. They will change your life. But it would be like I would just kept reading his books over and over again, and was listening to the album, and was just like, wow, that phrase right there, that fits the feeling of that song right there. That's exactly how I was feeling. Like Investigation of Reality. It's this almost like psychotic song of like intense emotions and things happening at the same time on top of each other. And it's kind of like the world we live in, this mess of almost like lies we get all the time. Not only that, but all this information, everything that's going on, and you just having difficulty finding the truth, even what's the real reality of the world. So really breaking down with the feelings that I get when I feel the song. But it's definitely harder to do, but it's almost like once I find that title, I know, I was like, that's the name of the song.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't waver too much. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah. And when I'm listening to like my friends who have instrumental albums, I try to make out meaning, try to make out a reason why they would name their songs, the names they have for those songs. And sometimes I'm successful. When I mean successful, I'm kind of comfortable with the reason I come up with. It's a game I like to play with myself. Like for your song, what's it called? The Life is Limitless. I have a reason for myself. I don't know if I want to tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
I don't know.
Let's hear it.
No, it's just because it started with this 7, 8, or 7, 7, 8, right? And then went to 6, 8, or 12 something. Yeah. And then came back to something else, and then just kept changing. And the one thing I have to say about this album, then I'm gonna go back, is that you were not like clingy. You were not trying to hold on to the spotlight. Like some of the songs, they didn't start out with a saxophone. They started out with some other instruments. And that song, that Life is Limitless, is one of those songs. So the fact that you were just going different places in the song, I think is the reason. It's a simpler version of my answer. I won't give you like the deep version. That's for me. So let me have that one. Good. So
you got it.
Okay. What do you think about my answer?
I think that's wonderful. Okay. And I do feel like that's definitely a feeling that pulls from it. Again, going back to the fact that I'm not going by my name for this project. It's MAE.SUN. It's not just me. It's the whole band.
Yeah.
It's a very much, we take listeners on a journey. So we have this kind of storyline we follow, but it's very improvised based. So people get to create new ideas every time. So we have these songs, but if you were to hear us live, you're going to hear a totally different version of it, right? Because we're not going to play the same solos. So I think that's the very freeing feeling from this limitless life, this ability to evolve into so many different things and to not have like dead ends or anything. We can grow, we can always evolve. And I think this song, I always thought playing in 7 felt really good, you know, although it's less common in America. Obviously in Africa it's a common time signature, and I feel like it really innately feels good and natural. And it's like this vamp kind of thing. A lot of our songs kind of have these like very cyclical but like continuous feelings, but in that sense we're unrestrictive, and you can create all over it. You hear Axel Laugard playing keys at the beginning of that song, and he first is playing very much in the key signature, whatever the key at that you hear, but he also takes it completely out, you know, and like almost shifts the harmony, but it still feels so good and fits, you know, in with the sound. So I think, you know, pulling from all of that, and it's just, and I got this visual of like children dancing. Anybody dancing for that matter. I don't know why children just came to me, because probably because children are the most free spirits on the planet. So yeah, that's probably why.
Awesome. Let's go back to Portland.
Okay.
You've worked with Esperanza Spalding.
Yes.
Right? She's from Portland, right?
She is.
Okay. Is there any connection? Did you know her growing up?
I did, actually, when I was in high school. So the producer of PDX Soul that I mentioned, Thera Memory, was also her mentor as well. And so she's like 5 years older than me. So we didn't really do bands growing up together. But when I was in high school, she would come back and visit our mentor in our band and give us clinics and stuff. So she had heard me in high school, and then I hadn't seen her for a long time, so I went to Berkeley, and she wasn't teaching at Berkeley anymore when I was there. And so our paths didn't really cross until I moved to New York City in 2012. And just a couple months after moving here, I was out at the Zinc Bar Jam session, which happens on Tuesdays. And she happened to come out that night, and I didn't even know she was in the audience. And it was my turn to go up and play, and I played, and I guess I did okay. And she came up to me after, and she's like, "Hey girl, like I remember you. Wow, you sound so great." She's like, "Actually, I need a sub for a rehearsal next weekend. Would you be able to do that?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." Esperanza. Oh my God. And this was at the time when she was rehearsing for the Radio Music Society tour. Okay. And so I had done all these rehearsals for her, and Tia Fuller was saxophonist in the band. And that year while they were on tour,
she was like the band director for that project too,
she was, but it so happened that she got a teaching job at Berkeley. And so Igmar Thomas became the musical director for that band, because Tia had her duties at Berkeley, and I knew the music best next in line. And so I got called for all the tours that Tia couldn't make, which turned out to be at least like 60 gigs or something. It was a lot, like 4 different tours. I saw her
in Pittsburgh. So I don't know if you were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was.
You were? Oh,
that was me.
Yeah, I should have stopped by and said hi. If only I had known you then. That's cool. That's cool. Great. You also worked with Terri Lyne Carrington.
I did. And
How did that come about?
She was, so when I was in high school, I did the Berkeley Summer Jazz Workshop, and I got chosen to be in her like special thing where Terri Lyne worked with just 14 students in the whole program. And so I got to know her that summer, and then I was invited back for the same thing the following summer. So she already knew me pretty well then. And I mean, she really helped me be a lot more free with my music. I really love the way I love her concepts about music. And so that was a blessing. And then I went to Berkeley, and she taught there full time, and I was in her ensemble at school, and I also played flute, and she had me record flute on the Mosaic album, which won a Grammy actually. So that was pretty cool to be a part of that. And I've done a couple other
Wait, you
one-offs.
played flute on that album? Oh, because I think she has 2 Mosaic projects.
Yeah, the first one.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Wow, you've been places, Hailey.
I'm slipping in here.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I've been so lucky to have some amazing mentors and to be given opportunities like working with these masters. And it's set me up for a whole lot of other people that I met through those experiences. So.
Nice. All right, we're gonna conclude with this little game. It's a really dumb game with a bunch of dumb questions.
Okay.
I call it turn up or mute. They are dumb but very difficult questions.
Okay.
So let's see how you do. So I'll give you two options. If you like the option you like, you turn it up. The other option, you say mute.
Is this in regarding music?
It could be anything. It could be pizza and pizza and rice.
Okay, I was gonna say music. I was like, that's hard. I can't do that.
No, but there's music.
Okay.
There's music. So
I'm
careful.
I'm very non-judgmental when it comes to music.
No, this game requires you to be judgmental.
Okay.
But there's a restriction. Try. There's a caveat. Okay. It's just for now. How you're feeling
right
at this
in this
now.
Moment. Okay, I can do it. I'll play the game.
It could change once you leave this podcast.
Okay.
Right. So nobody's gonna come.
Turn up or mute.
Turn up or mute.
Okay.
All right. So hold on. Let's start with Wayne Shorter.
Turn up.
Okay. Now.
I mean, he's like my favorite saxophone alive. I mean.
So, Footprints. You know Footprints,
yes.
Right? Endangered Species. You know that one, right?
Yes.
Which one do you turn up? Which one do you mute?
Oh,
How you feeling right
hard.
now? Okay. So I told you it's hard.
let's turn up Endangered Species.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
But I like Footprints.
I love Footprints too. I love Footprints too.
Okay.
See, it's hard.
This might be easier. Brooklyn, Boston.
Sorry, Brooklyn. Turn all the way up.
Okay.
Turn all the way up.
This might be the hardest. Breathe, River of Perception.
Oh.
Just how you feeling right now?
Right now.
These are two songs from your album.
Breathe. Okay. Yeah, and I can explain this because River of Perception is like talking about our thoughts.
Okay.
Talking about our constant stream of feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and that is currently buzzing right now. I'm having all these thoughts and it's flowing. The river of perception is just going. So I'm going to turn up Breathe so that I can relax into the moment.
Nice. So you have an entourage here who is patiently doing some good
special entourage. We're sporting our MAE.SUN
What's
t-shirt.
Her name?
Jade Smith. She is one of the stars on the music video.
That's awesome.
And also my partner.
That's good.
So I'm very lucky.
Jade, do you want to say anything to us? I don't know if they can hear you. Maybe you should come to the microphone.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm just happy to be here. This has been such a cool experience and you're awesome. Thanks for having us and sharing this special moment. It's great. Yeah.
Thank you, Jade.
Thanks, Jade.
Thanks, Jade. All right.
She's a #1 fan over here.
That's awesome.
I bring her with me when I can.
So last question. Niswanger.
Yeah, Niswanger. It's a mess. It's just a mess. And it doesn't look like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound the way it looks.
Yeah. Where's the origin?
Where do I come from? It's cool because I can say that there's no other Hailey Niswanger out there. But it's also a mouthful, which is why I'm also excited to go by MAE.SUN because it looks way cooler on a bill. But it's Dutch German, I guess. I don't know a whole lot about my roots, but that's where that name comes from.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hailey Niswanger.
Yes.
Also known as MAE.SUN.
MAE.SUN.
Thank you for coming to Doing Jazz.
Thanks for having me.
I hope we can do this again.
I would love that.
You didn't get to drink your tea though.
I know. You had me talking so much. I'm going to enjoy it.
It's cold now. It's lukewarm. Later.
Thanks.